And so you've just got all these compliant clients that do exactly what you say, and they're not rate shopping you.
Yep.
And of course, this isn't new for you, but it's mind blowing. Like, how did that even happen?
I think what it is that because of being in front of them and building influence, which is what this system does, and there's nothing else like it, like over time, being in front of them every day, wherever they're going, they're seeing me and my influence is coming up. It's like my spear, I'm giving them a daily dose of influence every day. And there's no other way to do that, short of being able to go visit everyone every day, which I have way too many clients to do that after all these years. So the system's doing that. It's making like influence. And then when they're ready to do something, there's what it sounds like is they just call me up and they're like, hey, I need this. Can we just get this done? You know what I mean? There is no what's the rate or like I don't work on the weekends at all. I work 2 nights a week. There's no I'm chained to my phone because my clients are respecting my time too, because they're like, this guy's the dude. So I want to work with like they're pre-sold. Like they come in just like they're already compliant because I've built my influence with them to the point that's undeniable. You know what I mean? Like it's just a position of strength. And then I can serve them better. You know what I mean? If I'm not running around, that's the other side of this. I think that's amazing is compliant clients. It's great for my business. It's great for the client too. I do a better job for them. If I don't have to get wrapped up in rate shopping drama and comparing one LE against another, and like, I can actually help somebody.
You can actually spend your time working on the strategy, being the expert, being the guider, actually doing the things that make sense instead of, I guess, defending yourself.
Right. Yeah. And none of that. And then also what I watch with compliant clients is when I have a lot of those, the joy in my business goes up, right? It's fun. I'm working with people who value me. They want to work with me. They want to pay my price. They want to do it on my schedule. They want my advice, right? Like that's really different than like somebody who gets a bunch of leads. That to me is death. And I know a lot of our industry focuses in and tries to make that work. I've just never seen that A, be profitable and or B, be joyful. It's crazy, man. I literally will have clients who call up and they'll be like, wow, it's just so great keeping in touch. I just feel like we've been in such great touch with you. I'm like, I haven't talked to them in 2 years.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's trippy. But that's their experience, right? They feel like they're in relationship with me in a way that absent of this system would not be occurring for sure.
Because it's actually you that they're getting to experience you.
Yep.
And not cookbooks or recipes or
all the drip systems for clients sending postcards and this stuff's okay. But like I've experienced that my clients, I'm competing for attention with the rest of the world, right? With all of the online advertising, not just mortgage people. Like my clients have so much attention, and if I could go visit everyone and spend time with them, that would be amazing. But I can't because I only have so much time too. And this has basically solved that problem. It's as if I am up close and personal with every one of my clients. That's their experience. And then what comes back reflected to me is that effect. It's so cool. It's just
deep trust.
Yep.
And tell me the path and I'll walk it.
Yep.
I'm curious when this first happened and like you experienced, like your client called you and said, I feel like I've been in such relationship with you. Right. You look back, you hadn't talked for 2 years. And then they were just, when you had that compliance, which you've had a practice like this for a while now, but when it first happened, if you remember, what was your experience? Like, what was your shock when it felt this way?
There were 2 things I remember way back in the beginning that kind of blew my mind. One was the degree to which folks were interacting with me. Like I was hearing from people I hadn't talked to for 10 years or 20 years. That was amazing to me. And also the amount of that, like there was just a lot of interaction. And that was, I remember being like, that's become normal now to me, but that was true. And then the other thing I realized was there were many instances where I started to realize that this was part of a client coming to me. And I couldn't believe how many of those there were. It's not like every client called up and was like, oh, hey, I see your thing. I'm calling you because of that. But it was more like they would drop little things. And what started to happen, like within the first month or two, is I started to feel like I had rock star status. Like people were almost like, there was a little bit of like they're starstruck talking to me. I never had that before. It was weird, but cool. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, I got some time with you. I'm like, yeah. I learned to adjust to that pretty quickly, but it's almost like I'm famous with them. It's like what it's like to be a famous person in front of my sphere. That was a really noticeable change. So that's it. I would say the amount of engagement and some of it from not current people, and then also just like this quality of, yes, starstruck, rock star. And not for me, that's not an ego thing. It was just like, it was just cool because it was a way that I could then have more compliance and help people more. Like that was really noticeable within the first month or two.
And what's your schedule? You said you work 2 nights a week. So what's your schedule?
My schedule is this. So I see clients. Actually, I see clients on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And on those days, I do that from the middle of the day through the evening time. I work around the country. So I will go to 8 or 9 o'clock because I have clients on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast, two days a week. I have a couple of overflow slots on a Friday afternoon if needed, and that's it. I don't take calls on the weekends, and Mondays and Tuesdays, I don't either. So basically, if we're talking on a Wednesday or Thursday, maybe an overflow on a Friday. And there's some system to that in my practice too, right? I'm not saying that was what everyone would want to do, but what this has helped me do is really up my game with controlling my time. You know what I mean? I think that would be different for different people. For me, that's what I want. I have a family and I have other interests. So I don't want my business to overtake everything. But what it has let me do is have really excellent control of my time, which is a gift. That's a gift.
So what do you do on Mondays and Tuesdays?
Basically, I use those days for project work, like creative work in my business, training, learning, and also like working on scenarios for clients, converting loans, like all of that stuff. What I like to do is get all my client appointments put together, because then I'm in that zone. I'm talking to people, like I could be more efficient. By the third one, I'm really limbered up and awesome. And then I like to take that other work and put it in chunks too. I get more efficiency from my hours that way. So I do projects, learning, coaching, training, and then like loan scenarios, loan conversions, all that stuff on Mondays and Tuesdays. And that's what this has allowed me to do.
So what do you do on weekends?
Chill out, man. Spend time with my family, spend time with my hobbies, play some guitar, mess around in the garden, take my kid fishing. I don't know, like that stuff.
I'm quiet. I'm shell shocked.
You know what, man? Here's what I've learned from this. The opportunity here is leverage. Like with the right leverage, anything's possible, right? Like a lever, you can move a really heavy thing with the right lever and fulcrum in the right place. That's all this is, I think. It's a metaphor for it, but it's not me. You know what I mean? It's not rocket science. It's just, if I'm in front of my people in an influential way every day, and the content is building that influence as well as relationship, I own that database. I own it in a way that other practitioners in this industry don't. It's not me, it's the system.
I know you work with productive realtors. Call you on the weekends. Like, how does your relationship with realtors work?
Okay, here's the thing. So I've used this system to create some very new realities with realtors. Because what's cool about this is, as an originator, I can share this with a realtor compliantly. We have it put together that way. If I start creating this reality that I was describing for me, for a realtor partner, it's the same thing. Like that realtor partner respects me, wants to work with me, wants to honor my time. It's the same thing. So what I've been able to do with this is basically top grade my realtors, like filter them out for the ones who value me, right? Who value that system. And that's what I surround myself with. And it's awesome. They know how I work and they want to work with me, but it's because now I'm creating compliant clients for them. And then the thing is, that's wild is this, and I'll go into this, but just to the punchline is, the spoiler alert is, I literally have a waiting list of realtors. A waiting list, yeah.
What are they waiting for?
The opportunity to work with me or my team. I don't think, I have not met originators for whom that's a normal reality. Maybe I don't think that's normal in our business. I think originators often are chasing realtors and trying to keep relationships together. And yeah. So this has allowed me to create a waiting list of realtors and then filter through the ones that I really want to work with personally and who I would put on with my team. It's that high leverage. And I could tell a story about that. Maybe this would
Yeah, give me an example, because this seems
I'm saying this concept.
otherworldly.
Yeah, let me give you, this is just an anecdote, but it really, I think, explains the power of this thing well. A few years ago, there was a realtor that I had just been introduced to, and we had done one transaction together, and I was impressed with her. Like, I was like, oh, like, I like the way she works. She was in a market that I wanted to expand into. Like, she was a good target for me. Oh, this might be a good, partnership. And what I did, I was early on in using the system, is I said to her, I said, hey, let me show you the system that you can use to create more business for you and more compliant clients, everything I was talking about, by doing this with your sphere. Let me show you that. And then let's just do this, is let's take a little 90-day trial. Like, for 90 days, you try that system, and we try doing some business together. And I explained to her what I do as an originator that's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I have to be have to be worthy as an originator too, right? So I explained to her the things that I would bring to the table and all of the awesomeness that I could help her with. But the way that got cemented was with referrals while you sleep. And I said, look, we'll do a 90-day trial. Let's do a deal or two together during that time. And you try this thing. And at the end of 90 days, if it's working for you, the whole thing, us working together and that, we keep going. And if not, we don't, and it's cool.
What did she say to that?
She couldn't say no, because no one else has this technology. It's, once you learn about it, it's obvious it's going to work, I think, to most people. And what's the harm in trying for 90 days? And that's all it was. And so here's what's wild. That realtor organically, like, not me doing anything, not me spending time, no calling, no nothing. That one realtor has led to 9 others for me over a period of a couple of years. And what happens is, because that realtor's in front of their sphere, guess who's in their sphere? Other realtors start seeing their marketing, their influence building, and they call them up and they go, how are you doing this? And then what she does, this guy, Paul, I'm working with him. And then I'll just be like, hey, I talked to the realtor, like, a little interview just to see if I thought they were cool or not, and look up their stats. I don't want to work with, I just want a certain quality. But if they fit the bill, I just do the same thing. Hey, let's do a 90-day trial, and here's what I do. And if that speaks to you, and right. And then there's 9 others. And then at the end of the 90 days for me, I'm deciding if I want to continue working with that realtor, or if they're going on the wait list for a team member, or if I don't want to work with them at all. It's very highly leveraged. So they're deciding if they want to keep doing it, but they pretty much do once they see what this does. So then I'm in that position where I'm deciding who are the ones that I feel are the best fit for me, who's one for the team. And then what I've done is then I've turned around and used this as a recruiting tool for LOs, because it's really easy to.
You've got a waiting list for LOs. I thought I heard that. I was like, do we have time to talk about that? Did I just hear that right?
Waiting list for realtors. LOs, I just go grab as I need them. But the recruiting is easy, right? It's, hey, I've got these 4 people and I need somebody to take care of them. And I've literally opened offices, like, I'm on the East Coast. I opened an office in LA just by having a realtor there start on this, who then introduced it to other people in his office. And then suddenly I was like, okay, I've got the in on the office. I need 2 LOs. That's a real easy recruit. Put it this way. Most recruiting is some call center calling up and hassling people and then throwing big sign-on bonuses, whatever. Like, but this is a differentiator. Like, you don't get too many recruiters calling up being like, hey, I got this office. The point of this is it's a system, right? I can flip that switch anytime I want and go get another batch of realtors and then go get a couple of LOs. That's how that works. And there's nuances to it. Like, in some cases, I've had realtors introduce me to the LOs that they like, and we just recruit them using this. There's a lot of ways to spin it, but I think the ultimate point is like having leverage with realtors in this business is enormously valuable if you're a loan originator. And it is. And like being able to have a filter where you filter out what you want, being able to get a great new realtor anytime you want, that's a nice position to be in. Being able to have a waiting list. If you are somebody who recruits, like I do that, not everybody does, but it's just, there's a strength. It's a leveraged, highly leveraged position.
What I'm curious about, the realtors usually don't share their secrets. So why did your realtor tell her friends, talk to Paul?
I think there's two answers to that. One is I'm focusing on quality people. So if somebody is closed off and doesn't believe in abundance and sharing and supporting our professional community, I don't really want to work with that person. That's one of my filters, right?
Yeah.
I have that filter because you know what, that realtor, if a problem comes up with a client, they're not on my team, and it's just there goes the joy out of the business. So there's that. I think the other reason though is that for her, there's really no competition with this because this is leveraging people's spheres. And her sphere is not the same as another person's sphere. Like this is not competing for leads or competing for a listing or any of that. This is helping other people do well and have a better life and a more profitable business. It's cool to be in a place of generosity. She could be generous. And that made her feel good. And some of these realtors, like they weren't even in her area. Like this is an anecdote. One of these realtors, she had a client moving from, where was it? It was like North Jersey into the Carolinas. She didn't work with that client. She referred the listing and the sale out. They were just referral fees. But those realtors ended up in her database because she was working with them. And then there were introductions to them.
Wow. Got connected with those realtors.
So geography starts to melt when you're using this. Like what you can do doesn't have the old sort of classic boundaries. This is a business that becomes psychographic rather than geographic and much more profitable and joyful. Yeah.
Imagine your top 3 partners. Do you want to duplicate them or triplicate them?
Anytime I want to, I can.
Because you're not bound to
No.
location. It may only be 10%, 5% of realtors you want to work with, but over in a small town, that might be 3 people. And United States, you got 3,500 to choose from.
Yeah. As an originator, there's only so much. Because I'm getting so much from my database already because of this system. I don't need a lot of the realtors but I need some, and I want them to be high quality. What I really love, is the ability to grow a team this way. A team of realtors and a team of LOs, right? Like I'm in this leveraged position where I can do both and everybody's like doing better. You know what I mean? Like I am being generous. It's an awesome position to be in.
Last question, because I know you got to run. How has it affected your LOs that you've recruited? Like knowing, one, that you can do this, and 2, like how's it affected their business, their life? Because I'm guessing some of them didn't believe this was possible when you brought them on.
Hey, I was like, let's try it for 90 days. Right. All right, look, what it just works. Try it for 90 days. There's a couple of things that come up. It's a great question. One thing this has been really great for is retention. Like, I don't really worry about recruiters picking off my people because if they go somewhere, they don't have this. And once their clients are interacting with them and they're experiencing rock star status, all those things that I've experienced, like there isn't anyone who's going to call them up and offer them that. And it's been really helpful in strong markets and weaker ones both, because I think both of those times are where people can get recruited for different reasons. But beyond that, I think the other thing is just change reality for them. Like for them, I'm giving them a base. I am creating opportunity for them. I'm creating the ability for them to go get realtors when they want them and get more clients when they want them. And I'm giving them that tool. So it's changed it's different for each person because people's goals are different. But I guess what I would say is I watch my LOs be able to create the realities they want better. Some people want to go do a bunch of volumes. Some people want their time back. Some want better realtors. Some want, I don't know. But that's it. It's cool to teach an LO how to fish. I love that. Hey, LO, here's how to go get realtors when you want them. Here's how you can have a waiting list too. Just run this play.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's super awesome.
So our time is up, but we've got to do another video. And will you walk through the system
Yeah,
of
100%.
how you do this?
Yep, absolutely. I'd be happy to share that because it's really cool.
Okay, then that's the next video we'll do. We got to go, and I'll see you soon. I want to see it.
See you, Charlie.